Look, I got pulled over again. Oh man, it seems like I'm just getting pulled over all the time. I got pulled over in my neighborhood by a motor.
Okay.
And I California rolled it.
Yeah.
Totally California rolled it. Everyone does. It's just like one of those, why is there even a stop sign there really? However, dude was cool. Comes up, he goes, I'm here just to keep you guys to start stopping at that stop sign. I'm like, who are you and what'd you do with the last motor guy? You don't have a mustache yet, so you're not seasoned. But
he's a little.
But I mean, he just came in with that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, listen, just stop there, give it a second tap, look both ways. I'm like, okay.
Well, and that's the way I think law enforcement has been instructed. And I'd love to get your take on this. The new HOV is no longer allowed for electric vehicles with the blue license plates. But the way the law is supposed to work is, hey, new laws pass or law enforcement wants to start enforcing something that they kind of had been pretty lax on. They're basically supposed to do non-citation enforcement. So it is pull over, educate the community, and then they hope that you spread the word and you stop doing the thing that you were supposed to know. But eventually, of course, they've done it now 100 times or 1,000 times. And then, person 101, they get the ticket, which for them, it might be the first time they've even heard of it, right? And that's where people get like, why haven't you warned me? And it's like, hey, the officer's like, I've warned 100 people. Like, that's the end of my limit.
Right. I'm at the end.
But yeah, I'm curious. I have not heard of anybody getting pulled over for an HOV violation for the blue license plate that is no longer allowed for, say, electric vehicles. So now it's
so you and I solo in our rig.
Solo is not allowed, even if you have the blue license plate.
Right. I don't think they're enforcing it.
Yeah, I don't think they're enforcing it. And
it's kind of like cell phones. It's kind of like the cell phone law that they passed. They didn't really enforce that for a long time, and now I'm hearing about them all the time.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of like a grace period.
Probably. I would assume
an unofficial grace period.
Yeah, I would assume that they're also used to the blue in the HOV, being accepted in the HOV. So I think there's a few reasons behind it, but eventually they're going to start.
Yeah, someone's going to ruin it for everyone, and then they're going to really have to crack down.
So we want everyone out there to go ahead, keep driving in the HOV, but when you get it, don't tick anyone off.
Yeah.
Don't ruin it for the rest of us.
Play dumb, but then I don't know. Again, it's only going to work for the first 100 times, and the officer's going to say, "Hey, look, I've given this warning 100 times. Sorry.
Here you're the winner.
You got the ticket.
Yeah.
Now spread the word that the tickets are starting."
I'm scared of what you want to talk about, but I want to talk about it. But I'm scared of it. I'm going to go right into me and the public policy of all this, and the future first, and things looking better. Yeah. As far as that, we looking at clients tomorrow's, and like we've discussed quite a few times, but now we're talking about some things that are loosening.
Yeah, maybe.
That potentially might loosen. Let's see where the Arizona legislature goes with this.
Yeah. Well, I thought...
And our voter base, too.
I thought what's interesting, right, and for the viewers, if you've never listened to us, like a lot of what we talk about is more or less off the cuff, right? We both have criminal firms. We both work in the same field, the same industry. We're not really competitors. You do so many other things that I don't do, and vice versa. And so, we kind of can freely talk about all the new things. And I was like, wait, we got to talk about new ideas for laws.
Right.
And I say ideas in quotes because I hate saying, oh, look at these new laws, or these new proposed laws, and then all of a sudden everybody goes, hey, this is a new law, they're letting everyone out of prison, and it's like, wait, no, it's not. It's like an idea, and we're at the beginning stages of the new legislators session where they propose all these new ideas for laws, and then there's a bunch of back and forth, and then they cross half of it out, and all the good things left or the bad things
and then we
got
to figure it all out,
and then eventually maybe it passes, and then maybe the governor doesn't veto it.
These don't sound like the governor would veto any of them. But
it's interesting, and so I came up with a few of these that triggered me to be like, I think this will affect my potential clients and my current clients, and part of what my firm does focus more on is hey, we're going to get you past your 5-minute mistake, but we also want to get stuff off your record. We want your future to be fixed,
Right.
not just today to be fixed.
Yeah. So which one you want to start with? Because all of them sounded good.
Well, they all sound really good. How do you feel about expungements for misdemeanors? We don't have expungements other than for marijuana.
Other than marijuana, right? Once it became legal, we got expunged.
Yeah, and that's why, because
it became
the only
legal.
reason Arizona has an expungement law is because they said, you know what? 2.5 ounces or less of personal possession of marijuana, that's not a crime anymore.
Right.
Therefore, we need to be able to go back and expunge those convictions.
Retroactively. And so we can expunge those. And then they came out with a seal.
And sealing records.
And
Great
so
way.
that works for, almost everything.
Yeah.
There's a few exceptions carved out, but almost everything.
Or waiting periods.
Yeah, there's waiting periods and the fact that you got to do it perfect. And it's great, though, when it works. I mean, it's so fun to watch these folks walk out of the office with a clean...
Oh my God. Sealing records is awesome,
Yeah, it's
right?
fun.
I love it. And that's what expungement is too. Expungement, sealing records, they're essentially the same thing.
Yeah.
Just slight technical legal thing that's different.
Look, as a being in this industry so long and wanting to not hear I can't get a job because and look, I know that there's a certain aspect of difficulty when you have a background that's not as pretty. But if I had a nickel for everybody that's killing it with the ugliest of backgrounds, I'd have a lot of nickels because there's a lot of people out there that just don't have that excuse, whether they start their own gig, whether they're working for, Look, I've got a kiddie porn case, and I'm going to leave it at that. Ugliest of cases you could possibly have that happened a handful of years ago, pocketful of years ago. And dude's working for a very large Caterpillar. And he's like the poster child of the best of the best. They want all of their people to be like him.
Are you saying good people make 5-minute mistakes?
Yes, I'm saying good people make even more than 5-minute mistakes. Because, he ran down look, on paper, he's as ugly as he gets.
Yeah.
In real life, he's fantastic. He's a good human being. The background of this, and I'm not going to get into it for the listener's sake because I said kiddie porn. The background isn't quite what everybody's got in their mind. He's got a handful of daughters. There was 2 abductions in his neighborhood. He starts, and that's word on the street is that's where they were finding and he's researching.
The wrong thing, but for the right reason.
He's vigilante.
Yeah.
And so that said, his vigilanteism, because he's not in that world, he doesn't know how to cover tracks. He
didn't get it from Discord on an undisclosed document download. He got it right from an undercover.
Exactly, pretty much. He was a bad criminal because he really wasn't doing it for criminal intent.
Oh, totally.
But he wasn't getting off on
Yeah.
something that's really hard for anyone to get their arms around for rightful reasons. But anyway, nonetheless, his record says that and will for the indefinite future, likely forever for him.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And yet he is working for somebody else and really, really, really doing well. So back to expungement. What do I think on that? Well, let me turn it around. What do you think about it? I kind of tend to like it misdemeanor wise.
Yeah.
I think that.
Well, I think my starting point is I get really encouraged anytime new laws are presented that actually help people.
Yeah.
Versus we're here to punish everyone.
Right.
And it's so easy to write the laws that say we're punishing people. This is now illegal. And hey, this used to be a small punishment. Now it's a big punishment.
Yeah.
And every politician runs off that. They're like, I'm going to be tough on crime. And so a little bit of my belief in our system is restored every time I see a law that says,
and
hey,
this is one.
We're trying to kind of, help people, help our community, help our society. And that's what it does. That's what sealing records does. Set-asides do. Expungements is it restores you so that way you can then look to your community and these politicians can say, hey, look, I'm serving the community not only by arresting the bad people and creating those laws that put people in jail, but I'm also helping the community by the good people who've done their time, who've been rehabilitated, we're getting their records cleared. So now our society, our neighborhoods aren't just like, yeah, 1 in every 2 houses has a criminal living there. It's like, hey, 1 in every 10 does, because all those past records are now gone and you're legally no longer a criminal. And those statistics now say you have a safer neighborhood.
I didn't look at it that way. I like that.
You can get better federal, government funding and
schools,
grants,
maybe
schoolings.
Yeah.
It
you could take your
more than what I think
take your
people
kids
think.
on a field trip, so on.
Oh, totally.
What I love about this, you just brought something up. I want to jump on it before I lose the thought. Marijuana.
Yeah.
I mean, Kamala, however you say that person's name, that ran for president, right? Everybody knows that person. Put more people in prison for marijuana that's now legal.
Yeah.
And I'm not.
When she was a prosecutor, yeah,
right.
Exactly,
When she's a prosecutor, and she's let's let her tune has changed as far as the outlook on that, but the tune was definitely different once upon a time. Well, Arizona seems to be kind of going through they passed a ceiling record in 23.
Yeah.
They're got some stuff. Let's clean up these things with petty offenses, misdemeanor offenses, 5-minute mistake type things.
Yeah.
Let's clean these things up. And I'm always for, when you've done your time, it should be done.
Yeah.
It's when we were growing up, I don't care if it's your generation, his generation, my generation, my dad's generation, your dad's generation, who cares, right? We all, at some point, if we did something wrong in the home, it was done after my little brothers and sisters were grounded. I didn't know what that was. We got spanked, but that was done. I think I got the better end of it, to be straight with you, because that grounding thing sounds like cruel and unusual punishment. Yeah. But, just getting whacked across the can with the belt, I mean, it scared you. It wasn't pleasant, but it never got brought up again.
Yep.
And so and
people change,
punishment.
And people learn, and people stop doing things. I mean, look, you get in trouble the first time you don't wear your seatbelt, and sure, maybe you learn your lesson the very first time, and you start wearing your seatbelt. But it's like, okay, it's not like you're now labeled forever as a non-seatbelt wearer. Right. It's like, this person one time didn't wear a seatbelt. Yeah, no. So across the board, we should really watch out for this person. Like
you didn't brush your teeth today, so you are forever gross.
Yeah.
What? That's probably not how it works. It's not how it works. And so it's one of those things where I like the idea, you do the time, it's done. Mm-hmm. And it's off a record, and it does not follow you. Yeah. And no, you don't have to sit there in your interview going,
disclose.
Yeah, I've got to disclose this, and I got to disclose. Right. And so I like the idea.
Their mind went, the interviewer, their mind went to probably the worst of like, I know what this probably was, but they don't really know.
Disorderly conduct, huh?
And especially when you're comparing 2 candidates, one with a record, one without a record, no matter what the small record is.
Right.
But whether it's even a dismissed case, oh my gosh, we deal with these so often that lawyers, especially like even us, like back in the day before stealing records, it was like, hey, your case got dismissed. And we would tell our clients like, oh yeah, your future employers, nobody can see it. It's dismissed.
Which isn't true.
They pull up in the backgrounds until you seal your record.
Right.
But then they go, wait a second, I'm losing job opportunities by something that 1, shouldn't be there, or 2, my lawyer told me I wasn't going to have to worry about, and 3, the justice system says I'm innocent until proven guilty. Look, why am I being judged?
What's worse than that alone, and you're bringing up a really great point, but what's worse than that alone is you go to trial and you win.
Oh, yeah.
They're explaining their win.
And you're found not guilty. Yeah, you found not guilty.
You just kicked butt. You just went in there, slammed it over the prosecutor's, forehead, and it was fantastic. Good victory, and we do definitely celebrate a good jury verdict coming back in your favor, and especially when it's right. Especially when it's right, because when it comes back in your favor and it's it's like it was a technicality. And look, I still kind of go, I wish they would have done their job better. They didn't, and that's why. But whatever, doesn't matter.
But the issue is
explaining that too.
The moment you enter the justice system,
you're in it.
You're in it. You now have to explain yourself. Period.
Yep.
Whether you're 100% innocent, whether you're wrongfully
accused. So for that reason, I love that Arizona's really kind of turning a corner here in the last few years. More has happened in the last few years than ever as far as future forward thinking
and
for inmate or for those that have broken the law.
It's Republican representatives that are presenting these laws, these proposed laws, and doing it. And I think we would kind of historically say, like, you know, Arizona's very red, and all right, a few years back it went a little blue, little purple, and now it's a mix, and you know, this is just California, and it's like it's not.
No, it's not. This is a Republican legislature.
This is our Republican legislator that is saying these things, which is again really cool, and I like to kind of sit here and go, all right, there is hope. There's a glimmer of trust or belief in our society, or faith that, again, the justice system, like you're saying, which I really believe is like, you completed your punishment. The purpose of that is to show that you are now rehabilitated.
Right.
But yet if you still have a record, then it's like you weren't rehabilitated.
Right.
Well, that can't, the two things can't be the same. Right?
It's like you went and got your tattoo removed. It's removed.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be visible anymore. It got removed. But, oh, wait, we have a picture of you.
Explain why you got your tattoo the first time. Right.
Or we have a picture of you. Here it is. And you have to explain the picture.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, you know, I shouldn't have done the tramp stamp when when it was all the rage. I have a buddy. Anyway, let's carry on. He just so happens to have one right in the worst place a fella could be having one. And it's fantastic to have fun at his expense. But anyway, he gets it removed, right?
Yeah.
And so if he's going in for a bodybuilding, and there's, let's say there's some sort of criteria and
competition.
Competition and bodybuilding, like you are, bodybuilding competition. But the admission committee says, well, what's this?
Yep.
Well, what do you mean? I got that removed. I mean I did my time. And so I look at that way. I think the more when you do what you're supposed to do, when you face the consequences, you pay the fines, you take the classes. Why are the classes?
Yep.
Why are we doing the classes? Why are we focused on some sort of rehabilitation? Why the jail time or prison time in some cases? Misdemeanor is what we're focusing on, but there's still jail associated with some of these and so on and so forth. Why do we go through all these hoops of punishment if in the event we don't believe in the result?
Yeah.
What we're saying is we don't believe in the result.
Or we're just like, hey, you're good enough for now, but you're never fully trusted again.
But you're always going to have the hickey that didn't go away.
Yeah.
That your dad caught you with.
Yeah.
Not that ever happened.
Well, and even not just misdemeanors, right? One of the new law ideas is to be able to take felonies down to misdemeanors, right? And we kind of already have this law,
right?
But it's just for class 6 undesignated offenses. And so, that the hierarchy is, class 1 felonies, murder. Then you get a little lower to manslaughter, and then you get a little lower to like criminal enterprise. So that's a 2, then a 3, and then a 4. And you kind of work your way down to 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
And categorically 4, 5, and 6 felonies, they're meant to be less serious in the world of felonies. But if you sign a plea deal, if you're guilty of a 4, 5, 6 felony, 1, 2, 3, it's kind of there forever, and it has lifelong consequences. Unless you get it down to a misdemeanor, unless you do a set aside, a sealing record, all this stuff. But people who never before, based on whatever this law says, or what it does for the future, could then say, hey, look, my felony was slightly higher than a class 6, right? So
it was a 6
for instance,
designated.
Instead of you stealing $1,000 worth of a purse, the purse was worth $2,000, and boop, there you go. You're a higher level felon now.
Yeah.
And you're stuck with that forever. You can't ever let that become a misdemeanor. This idea is this law then says, hey, wait a second. Even these low-level felonies, not just the 6, should have the opportunity to then become misdemeanors.
Opens the floodgates. I'm going to have to study this a little bit because not all 4s are created equal. You have your aggravateds, and then you have your that shouldn't be aggravated. But anyway, my point is 4's kind of a weird one because sometimes there's a pretty good-sized danger element to a 4. And so there has to be some semblance of, okay, I like the track we're going on here because I would love to see the 5s all be designated misdemeanors.
Yeah.
I mean, those are attempted crimes.
Or even all the 6s. Like
And
by
every
default,
6, des or undes. It's like, or open or unopened. Anyway, there's 2 levels of a 6. There's the felony 6 open, they call it, which can be designated a misdemeanor upon you completing your punishment.
And that's a key part of this that we should definitely mention. It's like, you don't just get it because you got it. You got to actually finish your probation. You got to pay all your fees. You got to pay your restitution. You got to complete your counseling.
And then one more step, because it doesn't automatically.
And then the judge has to sign off on it.
Yes, automatically it doesn't.
You have to tell the judge. You have to prove it's like an interview, right? We've been talking about jobs. It's like, hey, I applied, and look, I qualify. I have an undergrad degree. I have this many years of experience. I now get the job. It's like, no, you now get the first.
You have the interview.
You're in the interview. You're in the door. Your application doesn't just get thrown away. And it's the same thing with sealing records, expungements, designating to a misdemeanor. It's like, great, you now qualify. You're in the door to be interviewed by the judge, who then gets to say, do I agree or do I not agree?
What I love is people come in and say, no, that's a misdemeanor. It was a 6 undesignated or whatever, their understanding. And I'm like... looking at the records and going, you have a historical felony, dude, because you didn't designate it a misdemeanor.
Yeah.
Now, the first thing we do typically is begin the process of designating that a misdemeanor to where, and it does help.
Oh, totally.
In their thing, but we're chasing, we're spending effort after, frankly, stuff. So people out there that have a 6 undesignated felony, and you have done everything, or you're doing everything. When you're done, or you're done, or you're going to be done, you have to take steps
100%
to get that designated a misdemeanor. You have to look. We do that all the time.
Yeah,
we put it right in the category.
It's not automatic. You can't just be like, "Oh, I completed everything. Why is it not now a misdemeanor?"
Most people think their probation officer did it for them, and I'm like.
We just got asked this question. This is really serious. Like, because people forget, things happen, right, in their life, whatever. But you can't blame anyone else for not doing your application. Like,
right.
You have to be the one to hire the lawyer, do it yourself, or get your probation officer to do it. Like, get the judge's approval. Right. You can't just trust the system, and everybody who goes through the system should probably know that.
They probably should have a good idea,
at least a small level of skepticism that if you haven't seen something in writing that says it's been sealed, set aside, expunged, down to a misdemeanor, like then be skeptical.
Yes.
Don't just trust that someone told you it is. And
my probation officer, I've heard that. I hear it almost every time.
And I'm like, we got this question 2 days ago.
Your probation officer's not going to file a motion with the judge.
Yeah, and this is a really sad situation. So the way the question is presented is, hey, 15 years ago I had a felony, I did my time, and my probation officer was helping me get my rights restored.
Right.
The probation officer died, I guess, and the whole thing fell through the cracks. And now today, 15 years later, I was defending myself with a gun, and I now got arrested and charged with a new crime for being a prohibited possessor, misconduct involving weapons. And it's too bad, too sad, unfortunately, because the law says if you don't have your gun rights restored, you can't be in possession of the gun.
It's strict liability.
Period, whether it's self-defense or not.
Yeah, it's strict liability. Now, Arizona loves to be a gun state. But we're really hard on gun crimes.
Yeah. And it doesn't count that you applied to get your gun rights back. Like, until it's actually approved.
Right. You just got to say, listen, Jack, you go down to an FFL today to buy a gun, you can't do it. So at what point did you not realize you couldn't carry or you couldn't possess? You can't buy one legally. So look, I'm completely sympathetic to that.
Yeah.
And many very close.
But you know who's not sympathetic? Prosecutors.
Our prosecutors out there
who
that
go, too bad, too sad. Here's another 5 years of prison. Like, you should have known better.
We're going to give you the presumptive. We'll go easy on you. Okay, that's 2.5 years in prison.
Yeah.
And this dude has
And now he has a
4
prior.
kids and is doing quite well for himself in life.
15 years later,
You know, and got a wife and kids and da 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 da, or husband and kid, da 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 da. And it's like he was just dropping off, you know, his twin 10-year-olds at soccer practice yesterday, and now we're talking prison.
And then the argument turns into, well, how did he even have a gun in the first place? Which may have been different circumstances, right?
Sure.
Maybe somebody else had the gun and he needed to
Right.
get it because they got
And
incapacitated.
the dude that
It
he's
doesn't matter.
dude that
It's
he's
like-
working with down the road, and it just so happens to have a gun on that dude.
Oh yeah, then you're in
because he
trouble.
carries, and then
Yeah.
the prohibited possessor's in trouble
Yeah,
because
you're in close enough contact.
you're in close enough proximity.
Yeah, proximity.
Yeah, or your old
Constructive
lady,
possession.
right? Or your old lady has it under the bed, but it's not in a lockbox, and you don't know the code.
Yeah.
There's some interesting stuff going on, but I do like this, and I wonder what the criteria is going to be as far as what the judges are going, because it's almost like we're creating a separate judgeship, like we're creating a different division within our judicial
Yeah.
system, our criminal judicial system, to where all they're going to be looking at is expungements.
Well, that's a really good point, right? And we currently do this. We
Right.
have, you know, I don't know, let's call it like little brother, little sister courts
Yep.
for mental health courts, for
Yep.
veterans court,
Drug court.
for drug courts, where there's
Which I wish was bigger.
which again, like it makes sense to address specific issues with the judges who are actually trained on those specific issues,
Right.
the prosecutors who are actually trained on those
Right.
specific type of issues, and they're more accommodating. It's not like you get out of jail free or anything like that, but they're
Right.
more accommodating. And
Right.
anyways,
They
having
look at something, it makes sense.
post-conviction relief, hey, we are here to restore people's rights court process where the judge acknowledges why this is a law. And we
Right.
get some judges who go, nope, I've just been a judge for 20 years. I don't believe that, I believe people should have their
And there
records
are
posted.
judges like that.
And
a lot of
you don't
them.
get to choose.
Right.
And, maybe if this system did kind of, funnel them to those judges who have the training.
I think
and
most of our
it would
judges
help.
want to do this. I think it's a time thing. And I think that's why the division of assets there has to be at least contemplated
Yeah.
in by the legislature as well. Because you know what? We're willing to throw any old monkey. Yeah, we're willing to throw any old
a few.
wingnut in an MVD hearing and be a hearing officer. Any
Administrative
old-
law
an
judge.
an
They get the
ALJ.
judge title.
They
It's
get the
not
judge
just
title.
a like you're a
And we're
hearing
willing to
officer.
throw
It's-
anybody there that has zero experience and just sits there and goes, anyway.
But I mean, look, even the ones who are, let's say, qualified judges or who are competent, who maybe don't have a bad intent, quite frankly, among the 1,000 laws that you have, the judges can't know it all. They can't know all the intricacies. And you say, well, they should. They're a judge. It's
Sure.
like, guys, this is the real world. That's not how it works.
Right.
Okay, maybe AI, which we'll probably touch on in a second. But like I had a
Looks like
judge
we're gonna.
recently who's like, no, my rule is I wait a year. It's like on a dismissed case.
Right.
Like the case is dismissed, so you're eligible to get it sealed the
Right.
next day. And the judge is just like, no, I want to wait a year. And it's like, the law doesn't say that.
That's not
in
in that
particular,
book.
but the law does say the judge has
The discretion.
the final say.
Right.
And so,
So his rule.
so again, I just, I don't think there's really bad intention there.
do you think he was just shaving one day going,
Like,
I'm going to wait a year?
I
I mean, it got dismissed, but let's make sure they learn something.
yeah, it's like this person's innocent still, but no. I want for him for the next year to struggle getting jobs, and I want this to show up everywhere. And,
Yeah, and that does happen.
and it does.
So,
It's there.
So the global point to what you're saying, just to wrap it up, and what I'm kind of saying as well, is okay, we have the ability for there to be a process wherein these things are processed fairly, like that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's a straight up makes sense.
Or let's not make it harder than it
Needs to be.
than the law said to make it.
Yeah.
And again, we're experiencing a lot of that because we've like quadrupled the amount of record removal cases we're
Right.
taking. which is amazing. Like, I think word's finally spreading. I think people are
Good.
like, wait, this needs to happen. And we're like, please let us help you. Let us give you the discounts. Let us do it for you.
Yeah.
You have a lot to do. It's complicated. It's not easy.
Yeah.
And if you get denied, you got to wait an extra 3 years.
Yeah.
But we have prosecutors and judges who on dismissed cases still go, no, wait, that's a serious offense. And we're like, yeah, but it's a dismissed case. It's not a conviction.
Right.
And so we know it would normally not be allowed, but the law does allow it. And so they still want to fight tooth and nail for things,
Right.
especially against dismissed cases. It's just kind of shocking that, again, for me as someone who tries to believe in the justice system as much as I can, it's like you have the presumption of innocence. Like you were meant to be still whole until you're proven guilty. And if you can't even get a dismissed case removed off your record, like what are we doing?
Poppycock.
What are we doing?
Complete poppycock. You are completely right. And the reality is sometimes with a lot of effort and a lot of, frankly, money from our clients and crap like that, we do get it removed and all that jazz. However, we have to jump through 57 different hoops. And now the legislature...
By the end of it, you're all beat up and you're like, and this is where I empathize to some attorneys. There's so many criminal attorneys who won't touch these cases for a few different reasons. But one of them is like, why, look, I want to charge a reasonable amount. Let's say $1,500 to get this done.
Sure.
But if it's like, I just got done with a 10-round boxing match and I'm all beat up to get something that should have been done.
I made $1,500 in 8 months.
Yeah, and it's like, hey, and then judges or lawyers just then go, nope, I'm not doing it, or they go, I'm charging you $10,000 for the possibility that I might go 10 rounds, and it's
tough,
like,
huh?
And that's not fair either.
Sometimes it goes smoothly, and that's a fair rate.
Yeah.
And because we earn every dime on that, but it's smooth and it goes, and we love the result.
And the outcome, the value is
It's fantastic.
very much. I mean, the thousands you will make in a job and promotions, if it's off your record, like.
Yeah, somebody came to me the other day and said, this is where this fits in this category in my mind. They're like, what did we pay you for? And I was like, okay, I get that sometimes. I get that sometimes because people don't like to be found guilty. And most of the time I get these questions from family members, moms, dads, or spouses. What did we pay you for? I mean, when we came to the table, we had, you just took 4 years off the
jail
plea,
sentence.
off the prison time. But
he still has to do 1 year.
Right. Or in this case, 4, but they were at 10. They were at 10 when they came in. And the public defender said, we can get less than this, which was true. That was not a bad statement by PD at all. I just remind them gently, what is a year to you worth monetarily? Let's talk about that for a minute, because this was a very just result.
Black and white
what is
money.
What is a year worth? Let's say $10,000. We just shaved off 7 years or 6 years or 5 years or whatever. So let's go $10,000 times that amount of time. And I think that it's worth it and some. And some people really understand that, are very grateful. And some people are just hurt.
Yeah.
And I get that too.
And there's just the unknown variable, right?
Sure.
And that's just with the nature of lawyers,
but if
criminal law.
we shave off,
we can't
you shave off a year
guarantee
from.
what we're getting,
if I get 1 year back, like right now, if I get 1 year, what would I pay for 1 year's time?
Well,
I don't know.
Well, I don't know either. And when we, as the proverbial lawyers, we, when anyone watches, like, well, they have money. Of course, as a lawyer, you'd pay a lot of money. But I guess maybe the way I put it, and this is the way we explain it to our clients.
I got 7 kids. I ain't got that much money.
But the way we put it is like, hey, how much money did you make last year at your job?
Right.
Let's say you made 30 grand. It's like, okay, like we're not going to charge you 30 grand to keep you out of jail per year, but think about like your, instead of getting 10 years of prison, you now have 4 years. It's like you have 6 years to go back to making $30,000 every year after that.
Right.
So yes, paying us $10,000 in comparison or whatever it is.
Here was
like,
25 grand.
Like
and it was like,
here's a range.
And I felt like it was an incredibly inexpensive case. We've been doing it a year and a half.
Oh, yeah.
We've really battled this thing down to where it's at. It's got some ugly components, but it shouldn't be as ugly, but it is. It's an ugly, it's uglier than it should be case.
Yeah.
But it is ugly. I mean, we take this sucker to trial. It's like, oh boy, here we go.
You know, something that's making something a little faster for us these days?
What?
AIs.
Oh yes, AIs.
Touched our world in the
It has
legal
hit.
side. I want to tell you, this is like very new. We're actually like testing it with Clio, if you use Clio.
Yes, we do. We're Clio based too.
We are awesome.
All right.
Most law firms use Clio. There's other ones, and AI. Obviously, I've been skeptical. Everyone should be somewhat skeptical. You never trust it 100%. And even like ChatGPT, you use it and it's good, and you know, but you're kind of pulling teeth here
Clio's
and there.
legit.
You got to like ask like 5 different things over and over and over. And Clio's the first one that I've seen actually like systematize it. So it's like you upload everything and it's like, we want to tell you what we think is going on. And you in the law firm side, you don't have to spend an hour re-asking it to do this, check this, check this, always look for this, always look for that. So they built it really good. And in no way does it replace us as lawyers. Like some of the stuff that it said was still just like, yeah, that's not even close.
Okay, you're nuts. But
some stuff was really cool. And the way that it analyzed some of this stuff is speeding up our process.
Yeah.
Because the way we do it is like, all right, the paralegal looks at everything first. They basically create a rough draft. The attorney goes and looks at it from start, and they create kind of their rough draft. And then we push it together to say, all right, what did we see? What did we miss? What are we, all this.
Game
and now
plan.
this is like a third person, a third employee who's creating their version. And then we push all 3 together faster.
Yeah.
And it was cool. There was one thing in a recent case, in a DUI case, where they saw that the officer, you know, the blood tubes, like a 12-digit number, and 2 of the numbers were swapped on one tube versus the other tube, kind of thing. And
tough find.
it was it's a handwritten thing. Like, it's like the 5 and the 2, which look the same. And
good observation.
Neither of us had caught it, but the AI caught it. And the AI pulled up this thing saying, hey, look, you might have a possible issue here with the blood tubes. And I was like, what are you talking about? And I'm staring, and I was like, oh my God, there it is. But the normal person would say, well, then why would I need the lawyer? The AI found it. Now my case is dismissed. And it's like, that's the whole joke, is like, that doesn't get your case dismissed. But in the 10-round battle that you now have a whole extra round of ammo to fight against the prosecutor to say, hey, look, this one problem doesn't get our case dismissed. We get that. But guess what? We've got 10 different problems. You know, my paralegal found 4, I found 5, and the AI found 1. Like,
so we got ammunition.
A really good
it's a huge helpmate. It's a big helpmate, and I think that what it'll do is it's a good tool to speed the amount of information we're able to convey, not only to the court and the prosecutor and in the system, but mainly to our clients.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Here's where we're at, and here's boom, and here's how we're working this case. And clients love that, and frankly, they should.
Yeah.
Because that's why they hire us in the first place, is to walk them through this daunting whatever situation they're in, and let's go. Yep. And the fact that the more they know, the better.
Yeah.
And I love that AI does spit out a lot of stuff, but you said it spot on. I mean, it's like it goes to a group. The way you're dealing with it is it goes to your paralegal, your legal assistant, or your legal professional. Really, that's what they are. I mean, they're sitting there looking at these things all day long, and they're very sharp.
100%.
And usually they know as much as anybody else in the legal profession.
They might just not have the law degree to
they
show
just don't
it,
have the piece of plastic, but dadgum, they sure know. They sure, anyway, and they haven't lost their common sense.
Yeah.
Which is pretty awesome. And so
or they didn't become very ego-driven like normal lawyers, and then they
egotistical
think
sons
they know
of people.
Everything.
Right.
So they're more open-minded.
They're the pure practicing individual, really.
Yeah.
I guess I can't say practicing, but whatever. They're the pure legal professional in the room. But then they get that AI component, and then they put it together, and then the next. So you have a system where you're systematic. Boom, boom, boom. And then the end user is always the client, always the client, always the client.
Yeah, I mean, the more that you can keep a client in the know, maybe not about 100% of everything, because there's some things that you just don't know yet. And if you say like, hey, we don't know what's going on here, like but we're getting the answer still, then that's better than saying nothing. And
Sure.
And like this is so like right at our firm, we make videos for each of our clients. And the sooner we can make a recorded video that says, hey, here's what's going on in your case, here's what's going on in the police report, here's what the current offer is on the table. The sooner we can explain, and here's what we're doing to get you the best
I do
outcome.
like your program that way. I do think that that's pretty cool.
It's so refreshing when the clients say, hey, thank you. I appreciate your hard work. I love all the knowledge that I just learned here. I had no idea of any of this. And the fact that you're telling me now where I stand as of today, you're not saying you gave up or this is over, like puts me at ease, because my mind was going, I'm going to do a year of jail, like all these crazy things. And instead we're like, hey, guess what? We already have, 3 of your 4 charges dismissed. We have, you down to 10 days of jail, and we're still fighting to get you down to 1, right? And it's like, all right, like they can sleep easier at night instead of the months.
Here's where we're at, and you're just doing it as you go,
and
as you go. So they don't have, and that begins probably in your intake system where they begin as clients, and you set their expectations. You're going to be getting this, and you're going to be getting information, and that information will be on day 42 or 32 or 61 or whatever. You're going to get information as we get it, and as we work your case, you're going to know where we're at.
Yeah.
And so I think that what's refreshing about your approach is that your clients already know, okay, it's day 14 and I'm getting, okay, here's where we're at today. But they're not, and they're more educated as to the direction you're going.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
It's worked really well for us. Again, I don't think I know any other lawyers, law firms that do it.
I don't. I'm envious.
We do it, and we're really good at it. It's something that we like. And I guess if you were to put it in a different context, let's say you've never been to like a super fancy restaurant.
Oh yeah.
Before.
Yeah. Okay.
But you're about to go.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of people have never been to court before, but you're about to go.
Got it.
Like part of what we do in these videos is we say, hey, great, here's how you need to dress. Here's, when you enter the bathrooms to the right, and all right, when you sit down, make sure, you grab the fork to the left and your water's to the right. And when you order, here's what the menu's going to look like. These are the good things that we like. These are the things that you should probably stay away from, and, order these drinks and show up for this. And now
some
so
people just want to know what fork to use, what to do with their napkin, because they haven't been in this fancy format before.
Totally.
I would want to know
that. As opposed
that.
to being embarrassed, and now you got to ask the waiter, like, where's the bathroom, and what do I order, and what's good here, and some people want to do that, and you can still do that, right?
Sure.
But my point is that you're going to a fancy restaurant to enjoy the experience, the meal, right? I guess you're not going to court to enjoy it, but it relieves all that stress when you're going there going, hey, we got all the little things out of the way. Right. Now we can really focus on getting the best outcome, as opposed to like, I'm like, hey, here's how you read a police report. When you're at the entree stage, right? It's like
it's interesting, yeah. It is how to dress. I'm going to dress suit tie. No, look, you don't have to look like you're going to prom.
Yep.
But I want you to look like you're going to a job interview that matters to you, and so on and so forth. And we may want to, if they got a beard down to here and it's kind of looks like Grizzly Adams, I want to trim that up a little bit. This is, to me, is not case specific. This is any criminal matter. You may not want to look like you're going to, cut somebody in a million pieces and put them in a burlap sack.
Well, kind of what we say is like, sometimes we'll get pushback of like, or just here in general of like, well, dressing nice doesn't mean my case is going to get dismissed. And no, it doesn't.
No, it does not.
Not at all.
No.
But what it does is if for whatever reason, at any point in your case, a judge or a prosecutor who has visibly seen you before, and if they have to make an on the fence decision, do I go worse for this person or do I go better for this person?
Yeah.
They're going to think back to the image that you presented to them, the way you dress, the way you
speak, look
talked,
at them, talk.
Yeah, if you're sitting there rolling your eyes and scoffing the whole and they're on the fence about something, they're going to go bad. Yeah. But if you, as tough as it is, are respectful while you're there being accused of a crime, and and you dress like you're taking it seriously, and and you're early and not late, then believe it or not, the prosecutors, the judges
really look at that, and prosecutors do too.
If they have something they can help you with, they will.
Yeah, I agree. If I've had a nickel for every time I've talked to a prosecutor, and this is usually in some of the heavier felonies. Look, I know my client's a jackass, and there's just no getting around it. They just are really, really, really challenging to deal with. I somehow get along with them great, but I'm talking to them 3 times a week at night while I'm on my walk. This is what we got going on, and this is where we're at. I understand. I actually like some of these types of clients because they're more communicative, and so you always know where they stand. They might not be easy, but you know where they're at, and you can meet them where they're at that point. But the rest of my staff, so I take these calls all the time because the rest of my staff is like, okay, Dana, will you just take this over here? Yeah, sure. But at the end of the day, you absolutely could not have described that better, because there are multiple moments in a case where there's fences. There's not just a fence, there's fences. There's the needle that moves. And the better that needle moves for our clients, the better the result.
Totally.
And yes, that image comes into their mind. They're human.
Yep.
So AI matters. AI is a very good tool. It's like a very fast library.
Yeah, there you go. I like that.
It is. We have a library card now, and you don't have to do the Dewey Decimal System anymore. It's just like boom, 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 boom,
You don't
boom,
need to
boom.
go to the librarian to show you where the section is.
Unfortunately, because in my mind they're all hot. I'm an 80s dude.
Court clerks aren't all that attractive.
No, hold on. They're all very pretty ladies and fellas and such. Okay, let's carry on. No, but anyway, the point is we have a library card, and now we've got our fingertips on very, very quick knowledge. Now, what to do with that knowledge, how to put it together.
When it applies.
Yep. It's our game plan. It's our game plan for every football game that we're playing. These are our plays. This is our playbook.
And look, if you can get your game plan in a week rather than a month,
sure,
it just unlocks all the future capabilities that you're going to be able to do.
And you may have a march, and this war that you're going to win might have many battles in it, or it might have a few, but they all have battles within.
Yep.
Because we have our game plan, but we've got the prosecutor and the judges and all that fun stuff that we are.
One of the fun things, right, you're mentioning is like we have our game plan, right, for defense attorneys and prosecutors, judges. Sometimes they don't trust us, right? Because
what?
Yeah, and again, some attorneys have made a bad name for everyone, but we're obviously a little biased. Like we're supporting our clients. But part of what's cool about this is, and I would love for this to maybe happen one day, but we just say, hey, prosecutor, why don't you run the case through AI?
Right.
And watch how it comes back saying, hey, you shouldn't have charged this case.
Right.
And now it's like a neutral, unbiased, it tells you, prosecutor.
That would be fun.
Because again, we look at this and we're like, yeah, look, hey, we don't think this case should have been charged. My paralegal doesn't. I don't. And the AI does it. And then we present it to the prosecutor. Prosecutor goes, no, you guys are all wrong. And it's like they think we're just like fighting a battle just to fight the battle. And we're like, hey, look, no, we're trying to come to you human to human, that there's something wrong here. You messed up. And and I'm not here to, impede your ability to do your job, but
we're not messing. We're not trying to rub your face in it. We're trying to find the right fit.
You're the person who can undo the problem.
Right.
Like if I could undo it, then great. But the
you've got
fastest
the rack of keys.
The fastest way to undo it is you.
Yeah.
But if you don't do it, then we're going to go to the judge, who's the longer way to fix the problem. Right. And that's not going to be.
And that's going to waste your time, my time, and whatever. But fine, if I got to kick your butt, I got to kick your butt.
So if they kind of got an AI that was like, hey, yeah, actually,
and I'm assuming that that's probably on its way, or if it's not there already, because it's not like our Clio AI is partisan. They don't care if we're prosecutor or defense. They're just spitting it out
and
as
it tells
is.
us both sides, right? Which is kind of cool too. It's like, hey, the prosecutor, these are their strongest arguments. Your strongest arguments are these.
Which I find that awesome.
Or all or something and it really helps us.
So we have a library card. We get that, and we are able to come up with a plan and something a little bit quicker, but it doesn't really change. It's a map.
Yeah.
It doesn't really change the fact that we have a voyage. We've got a journey ahead of us, but it definitely...
And unexpected things pop up all the time on journeys and voyages.
That doesn't matter if you got AI or whomever else. It doesn't matter who you are, what shoes you got on. It just doesn't matter really every case tracks a little differently. And it's kind of what keeps it fresh a little.
Yeah.
But at the end
Every
of the day,
case is different. I mean,
yeah.
I hate
It's
saying
weird,
that,
ain't it?
like, because I think it sounds so cliche, right? I was told that when I was a criminal defendant myself.
Right.
Like, every case is different. We need to talk to you. And it's like, but man, I look at it now and it's like, yeah, because everyone's underlying scenario of what happened to them is different
Yeah.
to every other person, even though you have the same charges, even though you're going to the same prosecutor, the same judge, the same courthouse, like what actually happened in your situation, by the law of physics is different
Right.
than everyone else.
Yeah.
And therefore it does make a difference.
Yeah, and it really does. And it's interesting because every person through your door and every person through ours is a different human being. So that kind of,
And the things you want are different. Absolutely.
it kind of changes, okay, kind of makes it make sense a little.
Yeah.
Like every case is different because Divilbus, Zach, Future First runs different than, is a different everything, the essence about you.
Yeah.
I mean, you send videos to your clients letting them know, that's awesome. But not,
not everyone
the
wants
law
that.
firm next door. Well, I don't know. I think a lot of my clients, most of my clients would really enjoy that.
Yeah,
and if
but,
they don't, they'll
kinda
let you
the
know.
handoff there is now they see us less in person because it's like, hey, you're right. I got that video. All my questions are answered. So I'll see you in a month at the next court date.
Yeah.
But there are some people who are really like, no, I really want to see everyone in person every 2 weeks, kind of thing. And again, so
yeah, and there's different
firms fit different
ways.
people.
And mine get a phone call at night quite a bit out of me. We meet with them quite a bit. Client management is so important.
Yeah.
So however you do it, and you're doing it in unique ways, and I like it. I really like it because it's informational. It's got a personal touch to it because the video, it's effort behind that. There's effort behind every little piece. And that's what people appreciate is the effort.
Oh, so much of it. And part of we do these videos for a few different reasons, but we never want to ever be the lawyer, the law firm that, because this happened to me, right?
Yeah.
When I had a lawyer, for instance, my story, and it was one of the things they said, my lawyer said, Zach, yes, you need to go back to MVD and get a new license so that way you can drive. And I did that. And it was bad advice. And then I got a criminal conviction for having a false identification because that wasn't fake. And then I went and called that lawyer back and I said, hey, why did you tell me to do that? And they go, we never said that. And I just am like, wow, you're right. There's no way I can prove that you told me that, but why would I just make that up? Why would I do this?
I went
but who
to
are they
the
gonna
MVD
believe?
and who does that on purpose?
Like you or the lawyer. And now it's like, we make these videos so you can never say, hey, my lawyer didn't say that, or we can never say, we never said. It's like, and that's how we also like keep ourselves honest and integrity driven. It's like, we're not going to give bad advice in a recording.
Right.
We're going to actually look up the law, make sure the advice we're giving you is true and accurate. And we're not
there's
just
not
stretching
100.
things.
There's not 150 disclaimers at the end of these things. It's like, here's your case.
It's
Here's
not a
where we're at.
commercial, yeah.
Right. And here is your advice, and here is where we're at, and this is where we're going. And
look, we're going to tell you too, like, hey, this, we have, there's 10 questions that you need answered. We have 9 of them answered. Here's exactly what those 9 things are. The one we don't, it's going to be between this or this. And we don't know until we get to court because it could change that morning or the judge decides. But at least you now know it's between this and this.
Right, sure.
And here's your other 9 answers for sure.
yeah, and I'm sure some of these videos have requests from them as well. Like, hey, and we need you to provide We need, this would be a good idea. Where are you at with your classes, so on and so forth, because we like to be proactive in some of those things. And so I think it's a fantastic medium of communication. And yes, it does keep you honest. And
And people deal with so many things, right? From the defendant side, from the client side. It's like, again, you've never been to this restaurant and now you got to expect to memorize all that stuff. It's like, no. And then you go back and watch the video, or even the small things. And like, so like, for instance, a lot of what we say in the videos are things that they haven't even asked yet, but we proactively answer because we've just done this 1,000 times. We know
that's awesome.
What people are going to ask. The moment you say, hey, you need to go to jail and it's going to be 1 day, we then by default, they haven't asked, they're not on the video, we say, and yes, you're going to wear your own clothes, eat a good meal before you go in. Yes, bring your wallet, bring your cell phone. They're going to put it in a lockbox. Don't bring a big purse. Don't bring a backpack. yes, it is very boring. Yes, it is cold. Dress a little warm. Yes, there is parking outside. Like, we just pre-answer
Right.
like 10 different things at least.
Right.
That like if we were to tell them that in person over the phone or anything, in their
forget.
head they're just going to be like, jail's all I heard.
Right.
And
You lost
they're
me
gonna
at jail.
miss everything else.
Right.
And it's like,
And this they can rewind. They
and
can
then they could go, oh yeah, like, you know, now the day before jail that they go and self-surrender, they go and watch the video at the 20-minute mark, and it's like,
oh,
yeah,
I can
here's
take
all my things.
I can take a magazine or a book of a certain size and so on.
So
Yeah,
that's why it's been really useful for us. I think it's just across the board.
a good communication tool. I mean, it's a good communication tool that is also memorialized to where, yeah, like you said, it keeps everything honest. Moving forward, it keeps it honest for the client, keeps it honest for you, and future first. How cool is that? I just think I always have been thinking, I don't know how we're going to do that. I mean, Divulbus did it. I'm going to do this, but Divulbus did it. I think that.
Well, hey, that's a lot of my like personal motivation. Like even like, let's say starting a firm 8+ years ago, is I said, well, they did it, and I think I'm reasonably smart, or as smart as they are. So if they can do it, I can probably do it, and try different things. And you know, it all comes at different times.
It all comes together at some point, and who knows what it's going to look like 8 years from now? You know what I mean?
Especially like the record removal side.
Sure.
Like that one, actually, it's like, I think that's a little more of myself, as not many mentors or any mentors I have that are like, hey, we really love, you know, record removal. It's like, that's come from me.
You're like the only other firm I know other than my own. It's like,
I know, and I hope anyone listening to this, or just, I hope it spreads, right?
Yeah.
Because this doesn't need to be a monopoly. I don't need to own this in
I
any
get
way.
you.
People need this.
Yeah.
And right now it's a mystery, or it's an unknown,
Yeah,
or it sounds like a scam.
We're screaming
like,
at the rooftops,
please, everyone
clean
do
your
it.
record. And right now we've got the
Do it before you
legislator,
need it.
you know, our red-leaning legislature going, hey, let's look at this with felonies. Let's see how we can make some of these other felonies that could be misdemeanors.
Yeah.
How can we give the discretion more so? I'm interested in how that's going to redline.
Yep.
But I do like where they're going. I do like, let's make misdemeanors expungible.
Yeah. And look, it may not all pass the first time or the second time.
It's a good track.
Or the third time. But eventually something does happen, right? Like I was talking to one of the writers of the sealing record law, and it was a over 7-year
to get it done.
journey.
Yeah.
Like
7
years.
That's a long time.
And yet people are like, I've never heard of it. Like, and it's like, wait, this has been around now for 3+ years. It's like, so it's been 10 years in the making.
In the making, right.
And people still haven't heard. Like, so this stuff
Isn't it so
happen
interesting
overnight.
how they're the slowest sausage makers on the planet, and they complain about the same exact thing year in, year out. It's the procedure. They're all locked into this procedural battle, and we can understand that.
Yeah, there's pros and cons. And
on a law,
totally.
from a lawyer standpoint, we can understand the procedural BS.
Yeah, you don't want someone just coming in and creating a law that does a lot of bad things or things.
Well, that's why so many people can't stand what we do, is because there's so much procedural jargon and BS to it. And one can say that about politics big time. Like, it took you 7 years to get, well, yeah, because we have to get it past these people over here and this person over here, and they got their opinion, and then this one, and they got to go into this committee and that committee. And yes, could that also be AI'd and systematized just a little bit better? Oh, you dang Skippy. But that said, it's government, and so they're not, but I like the track they're tracking.
Yeah.
And you're right, this may take a minute, but at least they're throwing it out there, because when you brought it to my attention, I did a quick look up, AI, and I went, oh, they are motoring in this direction. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'd love to see expungement be a word that's more synonymous with Arizona than historically has been. Now, I am of the opinion, and this is on topic, off topic, all at the same time. And this was where I was kind of struggling. Because I am an Alcatraz believer, meaning I don't like our prison system. I don't like our punitive system at all. People, definitely, there are those that need to be in prison. I'm not saying I'm not going down that rabbit hole. Prisons are prisons, and they're for a reason.
It has a purpose.
I want it to be hard. I don't want air conditioning in it. I don't want anything but discipline, straight up grit, harsh. And I want the punishments cut in half.
Oh, okay.
I want,
see where you're going
instead
with
of 10 years, with my weight room and my cable and my emails and my hussies that follow me in my because I have huzz and now I have prison huzz. And so I got a bunch of people that follow me on that. No. I know that's creating better. That's creating better A, criminals. B, there's no real, okay, I'll go to prison.
Yeah.
Those that have been to prison I've represented are much quicker to take a prison plea. And so I don't like that, but I want to go, all right, I want a judge to be able to say you can go to wherever prison for 10 years, or you can go to this prison for 5.
Oh, that's an interesting concept. I know I don't fall where you fall on your Alcatraz, but
when I tell you the
I think it's
recidivism rate
different.
of Alcatraz,
Maybe
you
it
might
helps.
think different.
I mean, I think it's a complex issue, right? That I don't think we have solved and won't solve of the prison industrial complex and what's really rehabilitation. And, and it's an individual thing, right? Like there's this really cool story from somebody who finished his prison sentence, and he said the saddest thing that he saw was people who needed just one more day of prison to learn not to go back into society and do the things that they did.
Yeah.
He's like, there's a day that clicks in your prison sentence that you learn it and you go, you're right, I've grown up, I'm not going to do this again, my life's worth more. And it's like a switch and it just clicks. And sometimes the 5-year sentence, 10-year sentence doesn't click there. Yeah. But sometimes you're in a 10-year sentence and it clicked year 1. Yeah. And now you have 9 more. But we will never know that. Like
I understand.
It's an individual.
Well, what we have is a big study, and the reason I bring up Alcatraz is the recidivism rate on Alcatraz is as close to 0 as you're going to get. And these are the craziest wackadoodle, nut job, hardcores of that time.
Yeah,
and I'm looking at Al Capone.
I believe in people a little more.
I'm looking at Al Capone. I don't. I'm looking at Al Capone, and he had 11-year sentence. 11 years. Do you know how easy it is to get 11 years in prison right now?
Yeah, well,
you don't have to be Al Capone to be getting 11 years nowadays.
Yeah.
And so, why did these people get out? And not only was the recidivism rate so low, like dang near 0. Why was it that? But also their success rates, as far as their community contribution, was
After
significant. The fact, and these are bad people, or were. And so, what if they had to clean their cage, their jail cell, and they had to make their bed to perfect spec, or you lose it? You have to eat what you take on your food or on your plate. You can take as much as you want, but if you don't eat it all, no next meal. You're doing your own plate. You're washing it, putting it away, or no next meal.
Yeah. Interesting.
So on, so forth. The sickness they had there, hardly at all. The library, they ended up getting halfway through the place. I mean, they didn't have like people, having that, but they ended up getting a library, a small one. Their rec time was icy cold in the middle of, this little island, playing dominoes that would blow over. So they just ended up playing chess with heavier chess pieces. But that was like look forward to. But the big thing was, of the books that I've read on this, the big thing was the civilization they could see just beyond, and the music that they could sometimes hear just beyond. It's like, and so the discipline, the hardship. I mean, you didn't have a counselor in there. You didn't have a high school GED. A possibility at these times.
See, but this argument is so like, well, when my grandfather went to prison, it was tough, and like kids in prison these days. But I really believe the systems have evolved in good reasons and good ways, and I think people learn without needing that.
I get you, but Divilbus, life is diet and exercise, baby. There ain't no getting around it. Period. End of story. And I don't care how old or young you are.
Yeah.
It is diet and exercise, and if you don't put in the work, you don't put in the work. We're sitting here balling on AI, and AI is great. But if you don't work with it, it ain't going to work for you. Yeah. So at some point, we're going to have to take a step back and go, damn, there is no getting around diet and exercise. Unless I want to be unhealthy, unless I want to be out of shape, unless I want to be sickly, unless I want to be unshapely, so on and so forth, whatever. There's no getting around it. Yes, you can go get a shot now and lose weight, But what do you do when that happens? You lose muscle. And what does muscle do? Well, it kind of keeps you young, keeps you vibrant, keeps you going, and so on and so forth. So there's shortcuts
You have long-term
available.
issues, yeah.
You have long-term issues. There's no getting around. You can have a gray beard or a black beard, a red beard. I don't care what kind of beard you have. You can be young, you can be 20, you could be 80. I don't care. Diet, exercise works for every tiny thing. What do you got?
Yeah, I just wanted to add that the other day you mentioned
Uh-oh.
with the judges giving the client an option to pick between the two. You can either have a 5-year super harsh
Yeah, I
jail
think you would have
time
liked that.
or a 10-year
interesting.
super lax get your toes rubbed sentence.
Well, it's not really get your toes rubbed, but I get your point. It's you can
Not as hard.
you could go to a facility as we know them that has many different rehabilitation type things, or you get your GEDs and you can get some college credits and things like that. The prison as we know it right now. Or judge can have the discretion to say, or you can go to this facility and this is the time frame. Most of my clients would choose the short. Most of them would. Now, I don't know if all of them would, but most of them would, I think, at this point. But my point on diet and exercise is the same. It's never going to change regardless of. Your point earlier with the video games that you had, I found this interesting to wrap it into that, is, okay, that too was a form of diet and exercise because you didn't have a do-over, a do-over, a do-over, a do-over. Your do-over was, I'm done. And I didn't save, so it was learning from hard experience, and so on and so forth. Things do evolve and things do change, but our character, Little House on the Prairie, I don't know if many people out there in the stratosphere have watched this movie, but we grew up on it. And I don't know why, to be honest with you, but nonetheless, it's a bunch of people that don't have anxiety, that don't have depression, that don't have those types of things that we see regularly now. They don't have a pill to go take for this, and they don't have diabetes, and they don't have any of this, okay? I know it's a TV show. I get it. But what they do have is misery. They're miserable, but they're not having anxiety. They're not depressed. They're miserable, but they're not depressed. So what am I trying to say? Well, guy wakes up in the morning, every morning, and has an eye cocked for a bear that might come out of the wherever, or a Comanche engine, or the things that they dealt with back then, or, the bad guys running through trying to take whatever they can on their way through. And so they had hardship. And so that really hasn't ever changed. Really what's changed is what you kind of brought up is the video games of yesteryear and the ones now and the issues that we're dealing as society continues to evolve.
And it's a different type of hard.
It's a different type of hard.
And that's...
And I'm just saying, can we take diet and exercise to any type of hard, is my opinion.
Yeah.
Now, do I still want to give them the opportunity to, okay, there's facilities out there that have all of these levels of da-da-da-da-da, and here's how long that would be. But it's the defendant's choice. It's not the judge's choice. It's the judge can make the offering. Now, we could give discretion on the offering, but I think it's a really good idea to run in there and go, okay, let's see what we can do. And I'd like to see data on that because these harsher type things, people got clean during Arpaio's alpha program. Okay. 82.
This is the same guy who got sued for
You could say I hated him. I practiced law all throughout much throughout his. So I get it. But there was something about rehab in stripes, in the tents, in the pink undies and the stripes and the tents,
the pink and the
no
outdoor
AC,
Arizona,
no warm,
degree tents.
no cool.
Yeah.
It was either freezing or hot.
Yeah.
And so it was something about,
and with your slop.
with their food was terrible.
Real slop.
Yeah.
Like it's.
There was something about that.
Yeah,
that
he made
seemed to work.
I mean, and that was his MO, right? He wanted to make jail so miserable that you never wanted to go back. And I guess I would qualify that that was always temporary jail, right? So you're
Right.
talking had to be less than
Right.
6 months. Maybe I guess
You could get
you
alpha
the
done in
year,
4 months, but it
but-
usually took you 2 months to
Yeah.
get into it.
So it's a little different. I see what you're saying but again, it's maybe not the same comparison to like a long-term prison stint,
Sure.
but yeah,
But
the
it's
option,
similar, though. Yeah.
I mean, again, I think it's a provocative thought experiment of
Yeah.
like, would people take a harsher short-term punishment than a less harsh long-term punishment?
I always kind of wonder because I'm amazed at some of these guys that reach out and they're out of prison and they're doing well and they're on parole and they ask, hey, how can I, and they're asking my opinion on what they can do to best, shine in life now that because they're lost puppy dogs. They've been thrown away for right.
they're not rehabilitated.
And I love
they got to
it.
learn society that's changing.
And I
in 5
love that they're
years.
reaching out. They're making an effort. They're trying, and I dig the opportunity that I have to talk with these guys. And most of those guys are what's formed my opinion here.
Yeah.
And so, and I know that they're not, now these are fellas that have been there, done that, starting the movie. And so, and I root for them because they know as well as I do that there is this day is the day that I got to conquer. Mm-hmm. Tomorrow is the day I got to conquer, so on and so forth. They're not at tomorrow yet. They're at today. Yeah. I love that. They think differently that way. It's kind of cool. And I like learn from them,
Yeah, I mean, look, there's definitely silver linings to incarceration. I have met some of the most humbled people who've gotten out and turned their lives around, and they just see they see the world from such a different perspective of just gratitude and joy of everything. Now, hopefully, it doesn't take a long-term prison stint for anybody to gain an appreciation for life and what we have. But a lot of people do.
When I walked through Alcatraz and I saw and heard and read all the books at some point, I kind of came to a point where there had to have been a handful of inmates, maybe not all, or maybe all, I don't really know, that really didn't find it that challenging. It sounds it to us, but making their bed, eating the food that they, and washing their dishes doesn't sound that harsh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Shaving was a requirement and haircuts and all that jazz. They weren't getting buzzed or anything like that, but just haircuts. They all had probably a military type thing going on. Each button, because they had the button shirts and each button had to be, so, they took pride in however they looked. Interestingly, I find, what does that have to do with an inmate? Well, hold on. What might it have to do with an inmate? Yeah. You take a little bit of pride in yourself. Now, I get it that it's kind of it was a federal, place, and it was militarily kind of obviously a very militant viewpoint on it. But that's just how they did it. And I think that most of these folks probably got very used to it and then took that beyond. Were they counting their days? Probably so.
Yeah.
Probably so. What was the catalyst that made them succeed thereafter? Well, I don't know. They learned how to shave and keep their hair cut and to present well and to be disciplined and to follow through and to be in bed at a certain time and to be up at a certain time and so on and so forth. Interesting how that continues to translate into success, whether Reed's hard, who's 22 years old, or you're hard, which you're 37, 34, 32?
33.
You're only 33?
Yeah.
My hell, you're way closer to him than me. Oh, man. And you're already focusing on health?
I just thought of a really funny thing, right?
You're already focusing on health at 33?
Yeah, a little bit.
Awesome. You're going to really rock it.
You remember what you were saying is like, right, the newer generation, they don't, they're not going to break their knees and their back because of the helmets and all this. And the issues that they have are a little more mental health driven, right?
Yeah.
Well, what if we think about the prison system of the past was good for the people of the past?
Could be.
Versus prison systems for the future. I mean, boy, you take a cell phone away from someone these days, like it's like
It's like
the
their
world
crack
is
cocaine
the
is
world
gone.
is gone.
Yeah.
Like they are now imprisoned without a cell phone because you have no minimal access to the
Yeah.
outside world, right?
Yeah.
And I guess maybe more in the general, you lose internet access, right? Because you're like, I lost my phone. I go to my computer, right? Like I'm saying, you got no internet access. You're
drop them
You're in the
into-
dark
right,
now.
you go drop
you're
'em
you're
into-
the little house on the prairie
Yeah.
just by not having internet these days. I mean, look, and that's
All right.
again, that might be a perspective.
That's an interesting perspperspective. I like that
the
outlook.
Things of the past might not solve the problems of today because the people are different.
All I'm
today.
saying is the principle of diet and exercise. I know you've read about every business book you can.
Quite
I
a
mean,
few.
you've likely read Traction. You've likely read, the Ramsey stuff. You've likely read One, the Company of One. I don't care who wrote it. I don't care what it's about. If it's about business or finances, it always has diet and exercise at the beginning. Some tennis shoes. What is Ramsey saying? Is Money Wise book? Tennis shoes and sweatpants. First thing out of it, diet and exercise. Diet and exercise. Every
didn't
book I read has
this.
diet and exercise analogy in there somewhere. There is no quick fix.
Yeah.
There is no easy way. AI isn't going to easily fix everything, or the comfort level of whatever isn't going to easily fix everything. It's always going to require simple diet and exercise. Go, go, go. Now, they use that as an analogy that this is the formula to put into the new way of whatever the new issues are of the day, or the new good things are of the day, whatever the culture is looking like. There is no. There's an interesting comment made by somebody I read a long time ago. Is there are no there are no shortcuts in nature. Drew Pinsky. There are no shortcuts in nature. So we represent folks that are addicts, and we represent folks that go to methadone clinics and Suboxone and things like that. And I look at that as a transitory process to where that can help if done right. I don't see it done right very often. And then there's those that had to go bite a stick for 7 to 10 days in jail before mama bailed them out. And you're praying like a Dutch. At that point, you get them right into rehab, and you don't go with the methadone, Suboxone stuff.
Yeah.
Because they've kicked it. Or at least the physical part of it. Now it's a different type of thing to manage. Mm-hmm. And I love success stories. And so I would love there to be a Band-Aid that gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller as the wound heals. And I've seen that too.
Yeah.
And so I understand what we're talking about here, but the theory of there are no shortcuts in nature, realities on realities terms, and diet and exercise. I love what we're talking about here. All of these things, those people that look at life and struggle differently, all of us at least might struggle differently with a criminal past that's cleaned because they paid their dues.
Yeah.
I like the way our Arizona's legislature is thinking, and you brought it up to me.
Arizona.
The Arizona legislature is thinking, and I like it. The 2023 thing, the seal, beautiful. And now these things, even better. People that have paid their debt to society, I love it. And so I'll give you the last word, and then we're going to have to be out of Audi 5000 because you had the last words.
Well, I was going to say on my weekend reading list, I'm going to go back and re-listen to Atomic Habits.
Oh, it's a good habit. That's a good book.
And it's just all about small steps, discipline, routine, like. And so again, in the proverbial diet and exercise, I mean that's what it is for anybody and everybody. If you want, right? If you choose to, right? And so much of these days, there's so many more choices than there ever used to be, right? So much has evolved: technology, health, wealth, anything that you want to do, right? We have access to so much more today than we ever did in the past, and technology advances like 18 times faster than it like did the year before. It's like so everything is just
dizzy.
everything is going so fast that, again, whether everyone's on their own journey, right? Everyone's on their own pace. Everyone's on their own time. But yeah, I like the idea that like routines or your own discipline will ultimately help get you where you want to go.
You're 33 years old, and you and your young wife are focusing on the rest of your lives by diet and exercise and making better choices, and it made you sicker for a bit.
Well, I think it was purging also some other things that had just been toxins sitting in my body that it was
you had the fever break moment.
I think there was a little of that because I was like, this sickness is weird. Like it's sticking around.
Interesting. I will say,
why am I sweating so much?
I love Atomic Habits. One of my favorite books. I will say that, and I got this from Matthew McConaughey, is too many options will make a tyrant of us all. So when we say, Atomic Habits, or when we talk about diet and exercise, when we talk about let's get as much going for us as possible. Yeah. Let's clean our records. Let's pass this legislation. Let's seal them. Let's get on to doing good, and then diet and exercise. But there's a lot to choose from. But I think the key phrase McConaughey said was, too many options will make a tyrant. Yeah. We choose.
You would get what's called like analysis paralysis.
Yes.
So you just get stuck.
Also stuck in Atomic Habits, and it's a paralysis there. But what we can do is choose, like what you're kind of suggesting. I kind of dig it. You're like, well, hold on, that might not work for everybody. Hold on, let's look at this a little bit bigger. Let's look at this way. Okay, you speak wisdom to age to go. You're right. There are different possibilities for many people. But I'm suggesting they choose their path.
Yeah.
And stay, diet and exercise on their path. Mm-hmm. It might not look like mine. It might not look like yours. So what? It's positive and it's moving forward, and that's great.
Yeah.
That's what's the spice of life.
One of my like, I don't know, personal philosophies that I love is the more you learn, the less you know. And
Teddy,
if you think about it, and the more you think about it, it changes and it evolves. The older you get, the things you learn. But it's like everybody goes in thinking they know what's right or how to do things, and then it's like, wait a second, like we're not politicians, we're not doctors. It's like, and then all of a sudden you go to do that, and you're like, wow, look at all this world that I didn't even know, and yet I thought I knew this.
Right.
So it's like the more you learn, the less you know about the thing, and it's kept me very humble. It's kept me very excited to learn and grow and believe in different things because I don't know it all, but it can be better.
On that, we're going to end because give you something to believe in. That's what drives your firm.
Yeah, hope.
That's what drives Future First. That's what drives it, and it's what makes you so unique. I love our time.
Absolutely.
You got any new kids?
Not yet, but we'll probably do one more.
Keep me posted because last time we had dogs and kids and
4 kids. That'll probably be our good spot.
All right, we're gonna find out. See you soon.
Thank you. You too.